Radio broadcasts for this show on Tuesday, but we've switched to Wednesday holiday week to get you all the latest and the greatest for everything you want to mark on the calendar. So happy to be here behind the microphone and with our co-host Luke Miiller. And of course, this is the equivalent of all of the newspaper columns and all of the feature stories that are read under the umbrella of Chicago Tribune Media, Post-Tribune being the flagship. Each week for these past 9 years, we make sure, again, you have all the ticket opportunities that you've been wanting. And, Tony, if you want to turn my earbuds down just a little bit so they're not so hot, just a little bit, if you can. There, that's better. Thank you. Yep, that's better. And I know we have our guest, I believe, on the line. Blake, can you hear okay?
Yep, still here.
Perfect. There, you're there. Okay, so Tony's going to get us a countdown, and we are going to get right on the air. You tell us when we are our YouTube ready.
Let me put that graphic up so it doesn't look clunky.
Okay.
Let's see.
And we're also going to talk a little bit at the end of our interview. We'll just recap what we've got coming down the road at the Center for Visual Performing Arts, Luke, for some of those ticket opportunities and have our box office ready. Give us a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, welcome to Of Notoriety. I'm your host, Phil Potempa. Thank you for joining us again. And as I said a little earlier, each week we are here to bring you all the ticket opportunities, what's to be marked on the calendar, what is not to be missed, happening in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland, and beyond. And this broadcast for these past 9 years is the on-the-air equivalent of all of the feature stories and columns you'll read captured under Chicago Tribune Media, and that being at chicagotribune.com, print editions around the suburbs, and of course the flagship Post-Tribune. So happy to be here. We couldn't be here without our generosity of our sponsors and underwriters such as Legacy Foundation has a long history with us, Indiana Arts Commission, and especially now we are very grateful to our ongoing relationship and sponsorship with our friends at People's Bank and at the Arts Advocates that are Andy and Sue Arnold that let us be here. Some of you are tuned into our traditional radio dial at 12:30 a.m. as we come to you from our studios here in Hammond, Indiana, the Strack and Van Til Studios. Others have got the added advantage of our cameras for our window to the world. And you are going to be maybe finding us through your stream or through social media, and you might be wondering, what is all the props that you can see on this desk in front of myself and co-host Luke Miiller?
Hello, good morning.
We see the gauntlet that is here, that is the huge Holy Grail chalice. There are some coconuts scattered. There are some crusading shields. There is some shrubbery, and there is a very menacing rabbit with fangs, as well as a stack of Spam. That's because Spamalot, the Broadway tour, presented by Broadway in Chicago, it continues until just this Sunday. So depending on when you are tuned in, we'll stamp this date to let you know that our broadcast is happening on Wednesday, May 27th, and Spamalot, this national tour, stays until May 31st at the CIBC Theatre, years ago on Monroe Street, known as the Schubert Theater. And we have a wonderful guest that's joining us. I am going to let Luke do the honors of our guest that's joining us. You might know him on the stage when he's clip-clopping with his coconuts, but he is not just the character of Patsy. He has another whole Broadway acting life, and our guest is
Mr. Blake Segal.
And Blake, you can hear us okay?
Yeah, hey guys, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. We're just curious, just a little bit of background here. What was the last time you were in Chicago? What brought you to Chicago? Maybe it was fun, maybe it was holiday, or maybe it was a previous national tour.
Yeah, this is actually my first time performing here in Chicago, and it's been awesome. We've had such a good time.
Oh, yeah, you got great weather.
The only other time I was here before this was to visit a friend for 72 hours. So this is really my first time here.
Oh, wow. And, you know, it's nice because on this tour, you might do maybe a shorter run here and there at other cities. This is a couple of weeks. You get to plant some roots, and you get to explore a city. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had a nice stretch of some great weather, including you got to be here over the holidays. So we're wonderful. I'll let you know we have 3 fans here, including our producer, Tony Panek. We were all there opening night, and we were part of that standing ovation. We had so much fun, and I think we're still picking confetti out of our hair and out of our shirts a week later after that big finale. Tony, did you have a good time, right?
Oh, that's great.
Amazing show. I mean, that was my first time seeing Spamalot in the theater space there.
Say that again?
It was my first time seeing Spamalot there in a theater, so it was a great time all around. Very funny, super funny. The show was just amazing. I mean, Spamalot itself, you know, I know it goes back to Monty Python, the Holy Grail back in the 1970s, but the fact that it's still around, you know, today, Broadway, Spamalot form, that's just so impressive. Still making people laugh to this very day.
Hey, I think Luca's got a programming note for you here. Is that Tony?
Just got to turn your mic up.
Get your mic up a little bit. And, you know, but speaking of which, Blake, I'm just the opposite. I have been writing this column for the last 25 years or so, so I was there when it first tested out with that all-star Who's Who cast way back, I think, 2004, and have seen the other incarnations as it's come through, enjoyed this every bit as much, if not more. I think that you know, the sight gags, the scenarios, the segments, they hit every single time. Doesn't matter the age of the audience, or you don't have to be a diehard Monty Python fan. Don't you agree to come there and just kind of have a few amusing moments and escape the rest of this world on the outside?
Absolutely. If you want to laugh, the show's for you. For those who love Monty Python, you'll get all your favorite quotes and characters that you're used to from the Holy Grail. And if you love musical theater, there's a lot of jokes about musicals in general in the show. And if you're just looking to laugh, my uncle came, and he is neither a musical theater or a Monty Python guy, and he said it was one of the funniest times he's ever had coming to see a show. And often at the stage door, we've got grandparents, parents, and kids coming to see it together, and they each like different parts of the show, which is really cool.
When you did the audition process, was that the role that you were going for, Patsy, with the giant backpack and the coconut shells? Or no, there was a couple different roles that you were up for this run?
No, the casting director sent my agent a call. They were thinking of me for maybe Patsy for the whole time from start to finish. So yeah, I was just in for Patsy.
Well, I was going back to the other point. I just think it's a testament to how great the show is that I had to ask a couple of the folks that we went with, and they'd seen the show, like Phil, in 2004, and I had to ask, well, were these some new bits that were added in, or had this been in the show the entire time? And they said, no, it's been in there since the original performance. So I think that it's a timeless show, and that it still remains relevant and funny even a couple decades later.
Yeah, I mean, some of the scenario. Go ahead, Blake.
You were both right, actually. A lot of the show remains unchanged, but Eric Idle, the creator and one of the original Monty Python folks, worked with us when our show was in Los Angeles, and he saw the show, loved it, and saw a chance to write some new jokes and some new spots. So if you come to see the show, you will definitely be seeing some references to what's going on today as well.
Yeah, that is true, yeah, because there was a couple things I thought, well, I know that could not have been, there were not going to be emojis back in 2004, for example, but all the opulence is there. The Welcome to Camelot, the Vegas overtones. This had the advantage of the video screen, which could also transport the audience for different scenarios, so that's certainly being helpful. What's the one prop that was your learning curve? I'm very curious, and we should just remind our listeners and viewers that we are talking with Blake as a part of the National Broadway tour run that is Spamalot. That's here just until this coming Sunday, May the 31st, and so it's your chance to get out there and see it at the old Schubert Theatre on Monroe Street. The CIBC Theatre is right there. So easy to get you, plenty of parking. And so we've got him on the phone line here to ask a few Spamalot questions, one of which mine is, there's so many props. It's a prop-heavy show, as you can see from the table in front of us for our viewers. What's the one prop that was your learning curve or your Achilles heel that you had to somehow learn to navigate?
Well, Patsy's backpack is pretty iconic. If you've seen the movie, you have an idea of how big it is and what it should look like. I will say that thing is 30 pounds. That was a big learning curve. So I requested that it was in rehearsal day one so that I never got used to doing the track without it. It is definitely a big part of the show, and my newly developed trap muscles are very grateful to it.
I wondered about that because it looked arduous and it looked heavy, but then in the one scene you have to build the little makeshift throne for King Arthur, and I looked at those and I thought, now those have got to be light because He's got this heavy backpack, but they've got to be sturdy enough they can support the weight of an actor. So that's theater magic happening, I guess.
You got it. It is a steel frame with lots of pillows.
With lots of pillows.
And
Go ahead.
I think I'm on there. And you know what, Blake? I'm not going to give too much away if people haven't seen the show, but there is a scene involving a cow. Not a real cow would partake. But how long did it take to practice that? Because that seems like it takes a few tries to get it right.
So there is a giant cow that Patsy gets into a bit of a melee with. That one was actually pretty easy. That one was just catching a nice big pillow, and I get to lie down for that part. That's pretty nice. And a little backstage fact: that cow is known as Sweet Tang backstage.
Now that's one thing that, as we've been kind of dialogue and talking about, it's a new show in some respects. So come out and see, because you want to see what the staging's like and how inventive and creative they are with this cast in their multiple roles. And a lot of readers or listeners will say, well, what were some things you can remember? And I try to strain my brain. Then I was telling these guys, one thing I did remember, that big favorite number we all love that helps us stay optimistic, always look on the bright side of life. I remember that in the first couple tours. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe you would only know it because you're a young guy. Maybe you just know it from the archive footage. But they used to do a big deal with the dancers and with umbrellas because it rained, and they would twirl the umbrellas. And you could even buy those umbrellas with the cloud and the sun on it out in the lobby at the merch booth. No umbrellas. This time there's giant kind of dials or panels, correct?
Yeah, our director and choreographer wanted to channel the kind of like traditional tap dance, song and dance history in it, with the idea of being like, how can we simplify it a little bit to be more about like, it's really just if you dance a little bit, there's some science behind that. It will help you get out of a bad mood, or if you're in a rut, like going for a walk will move you out. So he talked about how he was trying to ground, always look on the bright side of life in that. Like, if you dance a little bit, it's not just a pie in the sky thing of like, oh, tap your troubles away, everything will be okay. No, it really makes things better if you get up and move around.
Absolutely.
So, Blake, before joining the tour, how many times had you seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail? And without giving too much away, were there any scenes in particular that you especially wanted to be involved with and see brought to life and were really
You mean
excited
the film
about?
version, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from the film version and then coming to the show.
I had seen it for the first time, like many folks, when I was 12 or 13. was when I first saw it, and it's formative and like the sweet spot, right, for fart jokes and nonsense and silly walks and all that. And what I remember most from that was actually like the coconut bit, which I get to do in the show, which is so fun. Just like how simple that bit is a guy pretending to be a horse with coconuts. It's so funny. And I think it's what I call forever funny. Like that will be funny no matter what, no matter where. Just someone pretending to be a horse with coconuts. And the other thing that stuck out to me was the Knights of Knee. I remember the Knights of Knee forever. That silly, like, feeling, like talking about a shrubbery like it was solid gold. That's
Just a reminder here for our readers and our viewers, we're talking about the National Broadway Tour Spamalot. It's only in town. When I say in town, I mean right in the heart of downtown Chicago for this 2-week run, which will end this coming Sunday, May the 31st. Want to make sure you get tickets right away. You will not be disappointed. It will get your heart pounding, and most of all, you will leave with those songs stuck in your head, as it should well be. You can go to BroadwayInChicago.com, pick out your tickets, very, very easy. You can also go to Spamalot the Musical, and it'll help guide your way through there, and you can find out more details. We're on the phone here talking with Blake Segal. He is part of this national tour, and he plays the role of Patsy, the sidekick, the right-hand man of King Arthur. And you have a couple other identities in the shows as well. Is that correct, Blake?
Yeah, that's true. All of the leads play a bunch of characters, except for King Arthur.
Except for King Arthur. So you get to do a little bit of double duty there. So that keeps you certainly busy throughout. We were talking about, we have on our display table here some cans of Spam that are stacked up here. And I can remember for that original run, 20-some years ago, they had special limited edition golden cans of Spam that were honey glazed, and you could only get them there at the merch booth table in the lobby of these theaters as they were getting the show ready for Broadway. Yeah, and it had the cartoon versions of the characters on the front of the can, limited edition. And I'm a proponent of anything Spam. They should certainly bring those back. But yeah, this is just a show that it resonates with everybody, and it's a good time. And really, I think family-wise, it doesn't really have too much of any kind of I think most people have seen anything on their phone, no matter what age they are. So I think they will do well with this show, and it's a great primer. Wouldn't you think, Tony?
I would say so. I mean, I think use discretion, but I think it's great for all families.
Yeah, exactly. The Lady of the Lake, she always gets her moment, especially the start of the second act, and my hat and applause again for this run. That's a role, again, that it has a lot of fun, that kind of cheats a little bit and talks about kind of industry insight about whether or not, you get your full moment to choose scenery all throughout the production. And certainly you have your moments. You were in an awful lot of scenes, Blake.
Yeah, it's a no-break show. It's I see my dressing room before the show, at intermission, and after. We are running around backstage all the time.
And then what is your next city? Where you hit after you leave Chicago on Sunday?
We head straight to New Orleans. After this,
wow.
We go all the way down, and then after that, we come back up to St. Paul.
Wow, that's quite. Wow, boy, you really are. You're going to opposite ends. That New Orleans. Have you ever been to that city before?
I have. That is a return spot for me, and my old college roommate lives there, so I'll be staying with him and his family, which will be really nice.
Oh yeah, you'll eat. You certainly can eat well here in Chicago with our pizza and our steakhouses, but New Orleans, there's something about all those wonderful restaurants and Cajun cooking, and everything has a sauce on it. And yeah, you're gonna get to indulge there for a while. Good for you. Anything to wrap up?
Eating my way through America. That is the best part of it.
Well deserved. Any other wrap up questions, guys? We have.
No, continued success, Blake, and it's one of those shows I would go see again for sure.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
and that speaks a lot when it's a show you can see again and again and still always and enjoy that belly laugh. Congratulations on this tour,
Thank you,
Blake.
guys.
Yeah, and we hope to cross paths with you at the Windy City
one
again.
One more thing, if I can.
Sure.
Oh yeah, just lastly, just want to thank Chicago and Chicago area audiences. This has been an especially wonderful stop for us.
Oh.
The crowds have been big and loud and happy and great, and we are excited to perform every night for you guys. Thank you so much.
We like to hear that. Thank you so much. That means that's another reason for you to come back soon, Blake. Safe travels to you, and enjoy the rest of this wrap-up up till Sunday, okay?
All right, have a good one.
Very good. As we send Blake off, we'll just do a quick wrap-up here. We have some things that are happening ourselves, gentlemen, at Theatre at the Center, the Performing Arts Center, coming up this coming weekend. You want to help us out, Luke Miiller?
Yep, for sure. Now that the temperatures are starting to rise, summer's kicking into high gear, we have plenty of shows on tap. Starting this Sunday, at 3 o'clock, we have a Beach Boys tribute, The Sounds of Summer. Tickets are selling really fast, but we still have a select few left. Make sure to give us a call, 219-836-3255, extension 1. That'll get you to the box office to purchase your tickets.
And what's nice is it's paired with a fun-themed lunch to dinner. I should say dinner. It's a full dinner to go with it. And that's our friends at 1040 Banquets and Catering. One-stop shop. As long as you're at that beautiful, I always say, oasis of arts and culture that is the Center for Visual and Performing Arts, 1040 Ridge Road. You can stroll the Art Gallery of South Shore Arts. Of course, it's home to the Symphony. But most of all, get an opportunity to have the dinner package, and that way you have a great meal that's fun and themed. Maybe a cocktail or a libation could be in your future. Stroll across the lobby, then enjoy the great tribute concert to the Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yep, then continuing in June, on Friday, June 12th at 7:30, we have Mike Toomey of WGN fame. He's going to come in for a comedy night. He's been here before. He's sold out before at the theater. He's terrific. He's so funny, and audiences love him. We still have tickets available for that. And then just a week later, on June 21st, that'll be a Sunday, we have on Father's Day, 3 o'clock, a Buddy Holly tribute concert. And that's with the wonderful Zachary Stevenson. He's played nationally on tour as Buddy Holly. And he'll be back. That sold out for us as well a few years ago, so make sure to purchase your tickets for that.
Yeah, tickets have been moving brisk for all of these concerts and events. www.theatre, theater with the R-E spelling, at thecenter.com. Go right on there. You can pick out your own seats or call our friends at the box office. As Luke said, 219-836-3255 will get your tickets. But yeah, don't wait, because these tickets are selling out fast, and we're very pleased to welcome audiences back and new audience members as well. Very good. Well, thank you so much to our guest today.
And I think I saw that rabbit move at some point on the desk there, so be careful.
That scary rabbit with the fangs. These are some relics from our prop room over at Theater at the Center, because Spamalot was, I think, one of the very first regional performances that was done.
Impressive.
Yeah, so we have all these props that are still here, including that Holy Grail. And then we've added our own Spam and our coconuts. And those coconuts are filled with wonderful coconut water / coconut milk. So, I don't know, there could be some Mai Tais in our future here as well.
But I'll tell you what, Phil, when they made these props back for our production at the theater, they're certainly not as light as it sounds like the one in Broadway in Chicago right now. They definitely put some weight behind these.
These are
that is a heavy chalice there. Yeah.
Well, and think about that is it is, but it does stand out. It does. Thank you so much, Tony Panek, for producing and co-hosting today for OfNotoriety. Luke Miiller rejoining us again. Thank you as co-host. To our guest today, Blake, from the national tour that is Spamalot in Chicago until this Sunday, May 31st. We'll see him, I'm sure, again along the road somewhere. I'm so glad he's having fun, and he spoke so highly of all of our Chicago Northwest Indiana audiences being so inviting and so generous with their applause. And we thank you, our listeners and viewers for OfNotoriety, for tuning in and being part of the conversation. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Until then, be this a rebroadcast or if you're hearing it live, enjoy the rest of wherever your path might take you, be it morning, afternoon, or evening.